Another pretty good week. You know, making do. Been, sorry I haven't been more consistent, but been sifting through some of the YouTube comments. Lots of good stuff, some bad stuff, but even the bad stuff kind of raises good points that, it's nice to know that there's, just a general discussion going on that's better than nothing. And with any argument, any conflict, there's going to be people whose opinions are, opposed to your own. And it's easy to take offense when you disagree instead of trying to recognize where they're coming from. So I figured for this video, just kind of address some of those, point against point kind of deals. And open the salvo with, one of the nastier comments I've ever gotten was somebody calling myself a danger to myself and to others, which, I can wholeheartedly disagree with, but it's unsubstantiated without evidence. And so my evidence is to people like a mid-40s mother of 4 or 3 worried that I'm a danger to society, maybe you should look at your own children a little closer. Because I grew up in a family of 4 kids, middle class. We had a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house on a hill in a pretty affluent neighborhood. And by the time I was 25, I went to university to get my bachelor's of science, business administration degree with minors in logistics and supply chain management and international business. And look where I ended up. My mother was caring. My father was highly motivated but absent. And when the divorce happened when I was a teenager, I basically had to work at our family business to buy food for my sister and I while my dad was, taking vacations abroad and left us with capers and canned beans in the shelves. So as much as people like to think that socioeconomic class equals good family home and children who are successful, guess who's full of shit? Because, by all accounts and purposes, I should be, a project budget analyst at Nike or, God knows what pie in the sky career path somebody with my pedigree should have. But here I am. And, it kind of loops into the other comments I get from people who obviously haven't watched any of my videos in length when they tell me to get a job before you complain about blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, thank you. I am full-time employed. I work typically 6:45 to about 3:45 or 7:30 to 4:30, depending on how my employer wants me to fill in gaps, in their scheduling. I'm adaptable. I drive forklift, which requires me to not use any drugs or alcohol. So I can't blame my homelessness on, substance abuse. So there must be some, mystical force at work here that keeps somebody with all the promise America has to offer and full-time gainful employment homeless. How could that possibly be the case? It might be that it costs $4,000 to move into even the crappiest apartment here, which still costs you about half your month's pay to rent, which I might add, the mortgage for that property is often less than your rent. Tell me that's a fault of mine, that you are fully able to charge us even just your mortgage payment. Like, you are accruing assets worth hundreds of thousands of dollars that are potentially going to be valued at more hundreds of thousands of dollars, 5-6 years from now. But you still feel justified in charging us double so you can take a vacation to Cabo. While simultaneously shitting on us for not being able to afford paying double your mortgage. Small things like that. Get comments like, we shut down bathrooms and access to trash cans because, you guys leave garbage around. You guys, kind of wrapping me in immediately with what I would argue to be a small subset of the homeless. The people that you do visibly see, because there's nowhere for them to be hidden from sight. It's like blaming all dogs for what one wild dog does. Dingo ate my baby. Well, not all dingoes are going to eat your baby. Just like not all homeless people are going to leave trash everywhere. The counter argument being, if we don't have access to bathrooms to go poop in, we're going to poop in the streets. And then you'll complain that there's poop in the streets. Well, we don't have bathrooms. Which kind of loops me around to another point of where I'm at now, was that after finishing my degree, which is highly mathematically focused, I started my own small business, which, if you are familiar with statistics at all, 80 to 90% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. 80 to 90%. Like, if those were Vegas betting odds, come on. You're not going to bet on the 10%. And if you do, you've got, either some skin in the game or you've got money to burn. But 80 to 90% is nothing to laugh at. It means most businesses, a dependable amount of businesses, fail within the first 5 years. Well, mine didn't necessarily fail, but the stress of keeping it up, because I had to keep my business open 8 hours a day and then go work at another job 8 hours a day and hopefully get 6 to 7 hours of sleep each night to repeat the process for 2.5 years, lowered my immune system to where I got a condition known as myocarditis, in which a bacterial infection takes place within the heart and surrounding tissue. Basically all the fun of a heart attack without the added bennies of clogged arteries. I mean, my arteries are not exactly pristine, but at my age, 30 at the time, you shouldn't be having a, heart attack light. So, it's easy to dump on people when you have absolutely no background of, how they got there, what kind of person they are. It's easy to tell me to go get a job, but you don't even know I have a job. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps, start your own business. I did that. Go get yourself an education and, advance your life. I did that. And I still ended up here. You know, yes, it's not a guaranteed shot in life. And it's not that I didn't try. I got Phi Theta Kappa. I had a 3.65 GPA in classes like quantitative statistics and business law, HR, financial management. I know the irony of that. Taking and acing a financial management class and ending up homeless. It's that kind of emphasis that, you know, there's some of those paths in life that I had the opportunity. I could have been a trucker. I could have done OTR or hauled hazmat. I once had a CDL with triples, doubles, tanker, and hazmat endorsements. And I decided to put all my chips in my family business. The business that my father ran. The same father who left us for weeks or months at a time to, explore the world while his kids had nothing to eat at home. For all accounts and purposes, from my point of view, I did pretty much everything in life that I could have to try and avoid the exact situation I'm in, but this is where I'm at. And it's worth acknowledging all the positivity because it pulled me out of a very dark place in my life. But it's also worth addressing that ignorance that some people apparently have, that somehow I'm a lazy trash hucking bum high on meth out here bitching about my situation, and doing nothing to pull myself out of it. You obviously haven't been watching or listening. And if you have, it just kind of, hit a brick wall in your mind that somehow your kids could never end up like this. They're middle class with promise, a family business, access to higher education. They're motivated and get good grades. There's no way they could end up homeless. Not like this guy. Because he's obviously, a drug-addled, psychotic, lazy moron. Okay. Sure, you can take that position. I could also arrange an upper and lower confidence limit among a Riemann curve to statistically prove you wrong. Using advanced mathematics, but I figured it was worth sharing with people. I've noticed there's a few truckers on my channel. God, I wish I had chosen your lifestyle. As hard as it must be out there, I understand long hours on the road alone, dealing with morons and Priuses reading newspapers on the highway. I've experienced that. Or another moron in a Prius cutting me off while I was doing my triples test in a roundabout, almost flipped the triple semi because a Prius cut me off. Do some of y'all wish to die? It seems like it. It seems like some of y'all have absolutely no natural self-preservation instinct, despite the copious amounts of money you seem to have access to. But yeah, for my fellow, truckers out there, fucking stay strong, man. You are one of the only things keeping this economy going. And not the Bachelor of Science Business Administration degree guys like me. We have no concept of how hard it is out there unless you've actually, tried it. And that's what I knew. I wasn't fit for that. Maybe someday when, someday. But thank you, everybody. Hope it's been somewhat enlightening.